Good morning, very early morning as well. It's 10 to 3 on Monday 27th of February and I'm just setting off on a 200km DIY by GPS Audex down to Swanage Youth Hostel. The reason I'm starting off so early is there's some pretty horrible weather forecast on the way. I think it's the tail end of Storm Ewan, the second big storm we've had in the last couple of weeks. The reason I've chosen 3 in the morning is the hostel, the earliest I can book in is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so I sort of figure if it's a 12-hour ride and I do get there absolutely soaked, at least I can get straight in, get showered, get my clothes in a drying room as soon as possible. So that's the logic. Whether it sort of pans out that way, we'll have to wait and see. So the route goes from Bath to Swanage on the Jurassic Coast in Dorset. Rather than going due south, it does a bulge first of all westwards to make the route up to 200 kilometres, goes over the Mendips near Shipham, near Cheddar, and then loops back in eastwards towards Wincanton, then sort of fairly due south with the slight sort of heading southeasterly. So that's going to be quite beneficial, I think. So the wind's going to be picking up during the day south-southwesterly, so it should be sort of beneficial. Well, I'm now riding up through Chewstoke or Chew Magna. I always get me too confused over there. It's quite nice actually having this road to myself, because this is the main road, well it's the B road that a lot of traffic to and from Bristol Airport uses, and it's quite narrow through this village, so cars are quite often having to stop to let each other pass, and on a bike it can sometimes just mean you feel a bit squeezed. So it's really nice riding up through here, traffic free. Well, it's just gone 5:30 in the morning now. I'm just turning off the Basta Weston-super-Mare Road, the A368, onto the A38, just for about a mile or so, up through Rowbarrow rock cutting, and then I'm going to turn left, across the Mendips at Shipham, and then drop down on the outskirts of Cheddar before I start heading south end to Axbridge. And what I have done is I've bought a space blanket just in case I have to sit out some heavy rain showers in bus shelters or anything. Well, it's 7 AM now. It's time I would normally be starting off on a youth hostel trip, so I've got about 87 miles to go, so maybe, what's that, 40 miles I've done already. I'm making quite good progress. As you can see, it's now light. I'm on a bridge above the River Brew. Not sure if you can see it in the background. There's Glastonbury Tor, just coming into the village of West Hay. So I've done my loop round to the west. I'm just now about to sort of like finish the last little bit of curve before then I do the 90° and start heading south. Another option would have been, if it really had been torrential rain and terrible and I just wasn't enjoying it, I could have just started home from pretty much here actually, been home. It was a bailout point basically. I could have been home probably within about an hour or so from here. But you know, I'm pressing on. Skies do look sort of quite overcast. There's some threatening clouds in the distance, but there's also some quite clear patches as well actually. You know, I don't think I'm going to get through today without getting soaked at some point, but you know, to get over a third of the way, doing quite well so far. Well, it's now 20 past 9 and I'm round about halfway, about 62 miles to go. So I'm actually on the Somerton to Castlecarry road, going quite fast actually. I've got a tailwind, slightly downhill it feels, making good progress, about 3 miles from Castlecarry. So no rain so far. Well, it's now 10:40 and I'm just leaving Wincanton. I've just stopped in there for some beans on toast and a coffee. So what happened was I left Castlecarry, was climbing up onto a ridge that heads over towards Wincanton, and first of all I got a battery alarm on my Garmin. That's normally not much of a trouble because I've got about 20% left when you get the first alarm, and then it started to come on to rain and I thought, oh right, here we go. If only I could get into Wincanton, you know, I could charge the Garmin, possibly sit out the rain while I'm having some breakfast. So it actually worked out that way. I sat in this cafe, but the rain never materialised. In fact, there's quite a lot of blue sky now. So I'm now just heading south of Wincanton, down towards Sturmiston Newton, across the Blackmore Vale. So it's going to be sort of quite flat here, possibly exposed. There's not a lot of places for shelter out of sort of memory, so if it does come on to rain soon, I could well get caught out. Well, it's 12:05 and I'm now at Sturmiston Newton Mill, just slightly gone off route actually, just to come and have a look at this place. One of my favourite places just to mooch around actually. Well, it's about 12:30 now and I'm sat in a bus shelter in Oakford, Fixpain. There's a big hill coming at me in about a couple of miles time, so I climb up over the Dorset Downs. So I've stopped here to have my lunch actually. So although 12:30 sort of seems quite a normal time to have lunch, metabolism wise, sleep wise, it's probably about 5:30, 6, which is a bit late to be honest. I've been on the road since 3 o'clock this morning. So anyway, giving me devices a bit of a charge as well. I bought the big Technic power pack, so I'm a couple of USB ports on it, so I'm giving my Garmin and front light a really good top up. Well, I was just finishing off my sandwiches. The sky came over really dark, quite a heavy downpour actually, and I just started to sort of chill a little bit, so I sort of wrapped myself in this face blanket. The heat reflects off you almost instantly. It's literally like sitting next to a halogen fire or something. Just keeps you warm. And now, like 5 minutes after getting this out of my bag, blue sky again. So I'm just going to sit here for another 10 minutes maybe, just let my lunch really go down before I attack this big climb that's coming up. Well, it's now 10 to 2 and after my lunch I climbed up the big hill onto this ridge. I've been sort of following it along for a few miles. You can probably see the sky's looking blue, the sun's quite bright, but in the far distance over towards the coast you can see big grey clouds with sort of curtains of rain moving sideways underneath them. So someone's getting it somewhere, it just hasn't been me yet. Well, I've been riding through the Wareham Forest, and it's an area of sort of quite high concentration of military activity. I've actually gone off route very slightly to visit this spot here. It's a shrine. This is the point in the road where T.E. Lawrence was fatally injured on his motorcycle on the 13th of May 1935. T.E. Lawrence, better known as Lawrence of Arabia. Lawrence lived along this road in his cottage called Cloud Hill. It's still there actually. And the road used to be very twisty and windy. It's been straightened out since, but the story goes he actually swerved to avoid a group of cyclists and was fatally injured.
What is it, Major Lawrence, that attracts you personally to the desert? It's clean.
Final killer hill of the day, I think, I hope. I've just come along here. Behind me there's quite a sharp S-bend and heading up to this summit. And I've just climbed up on this little rise. It's a fantastic view, the first view of the sea. And first of all there's Poole Harbour. Looking down right in front of me now, that's the sandbanks where the ferry goes across the pool. Then there's the coast. Since Corfe Castle this road's actually been quite hard and it's starting to look a bit storm clouds gathering. I've been so laid back and relaxed about the time. I'm quite close to running out of time actually. I've got about 30 minutes or so to do 3 miles. Well, it's 20 to 5 and I've just got here. I think I've got about half an hour to spare because the time allowance for this ride was 14 hours 11 minutes. I think I left about 3 AM this morning. Might have been a bit before, a bit after, but amazingly I've got here in the dry. Soon after the viewpoint, with about 5 or 6 miles to go, it was quite a fast drop down to Swanage. Then just as I came in, the sort of heavens opened up and there was a hailstorm just as I hit the seafront. It was actually quite painful on my face, but I was aware of the time. I just wanted to get here, so I rode through it. So now I'm here, and I think I'll dispense with the self-catering tonight, just because I'm here so early. I'll go in, get cleaned up, get my bed made, get settled in, have a shower. I'm going to treat myself to fish and chips and a couple of beers in town tonight, I think. I just had fish and chips in that amazing place there. It's a takeaway downstairs and upstairs. Really nice cosy fish and chip restaurant. While I was eating it, I was by one of the windows and another hailstorm hit. You could see it sort of lashing, sort of coming in sheets of it against the lights, and also the waves crashing up against the harbour here. Felt very cosy here. So I've now been up about 18 hours. I've had fish chips, peas, and then I had an ice cream as a pudding, a couple of pints. I've been up about 18 hours now. I feel really exhausted. Head back to the hostel, put some earplugs in, hit the hay I think. So I'm just setting off now. It's a fairly direct route back to Bath. It's about 73 miles I think, so I'm going to be on my way soon. It's 8:30 in the morning, so I've had a nice breakfast. Looks like it's been a lovely day. So once again, thanks for watching.